What's up, guys? It's Rick Ginn on the Rick Ginn channel. And today we are talking about the best lead generation strategies for wholesaling right now in 2024. Now, the key word here is strategy, because God knows I've talked about lead generation till I churn blue. If you want details on the best lead gen, start off at freewholesaling.com. But let's dive into it today. Not only are we going to talk about lead generation, but we're going to talk about the strategies. And there's a few tips you need to understand to make your lead generation strategy work. So I'm going to share the best lead gen strategies today that are working right now and how you can employ them in your local and your virtual wholesaling market. But we have to put an entire strategy together, because it's like anything else. If you get the leads, if you don't have a plan, you don't have a system, you are going to fail. So if you want to hop into it, do me a favor, make sure you use the comments, introduce yourself, let us know what market you're at. Also, if you have a question, that's the best place to put it in. And then I am going to put a link on here. Let's see. Let me do it before I forget. If you want to jump on and do a one-on-one, as soon as I'm done going over the best lead the best lead generation strategy, go ahead and click that link. It'll put you through StreamYard. You can connect with me one-on-one. You don't have to come on video if you don't want, but it's nice to put a name with a face. And if you have a problem with a real estate deal you're working on, your wholesaling strategy, or maybe a lead gen strategy, take advantage of it today, because I don't want to hear about it. I have this channel and I offer you one-on-one time for free. Most gurus will run from it. They're just, that's below me, or you got to pay me. I don't care. The more people I help out, the just the better I feel. Most importantly, number two, it makes me happy. Number three, it makes me a crap load of money. So if you want to jump on, I put that on there, and I appreciate you guys. So let's talk about this. So before I get started here, as I said earlier, if you are new to this channel, do me a favor, make sure you are subscribed. That way you know when we go on live. We do it every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and that is the best way. And if you are new to wholesaling, or you got ran over by one of these gurus, do me a favor, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. I'm going to click it up if I can ever find it here. It's right there on there for you. This is 29 years of experience between me and my son, and we show you the non-frill, no fluff. We show you actually how to do wholesaling. We've been doing it longer than anybody else as far as the content. And guys, it is free. Why do I do it for free? Because number one, it's ridiculous you have to pay for wholesaling information. And number two, most of the information out there is really bad. And number three, most of them are going to make you pay them for their information. And most of you are going to be disappointed when you get the information. That's why you will never see their course out publicly, because most people behind the scenes are not impressed with it. And so me and Zach do it the opposite. We throw it out there for you. We give you the skill set you need to go out and find a deal right away. I am not here to hand you a diploma, a degree in wholesaling. It is worthless in our community. I don't care about your education level, your financial status. The question is, will you work? If you want to do those things, go ahead and click on that. So that being said, let's jump into lead generation. And so the biggest problem we have with lead generation, I'm going to put it up here, is a lot of people just do lead generation and they don't add the word strategy. Lead generation plan, lead generation marketing plan, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't plan to fail, you're going to fail the plan. So the problem is, if you just go, okay, I'm going to do cold calling, I'm going to do texting, and I'm going to do, I don't know, direct mail. Okay. That doesn't mean anything to me. In fact, you can pick whatever pieces you want until you formally put your lead gen strategy together, meaning how are you going to implement it and how are you going to make sure it actually sticks. I don't care what marketing you do, it's not going to work. And I teach this in freewholesaling.com. And I'm here to tell you, almost every one of you that are struggling with your marketing, if I ask you, what is your marketing plan? I always get a blank stare like, huh, what? Very, very few people will do a marketing plan. It's just the truth. So what I want to do is share with you um, the 3 things required to be successful in lead generation strategy, period. So we're going to go over the lead strategies. I promise you, the lead generation itself. But if you do not implement these 3 things, you are doomed to fail in it. I don't know why more people don't talk about this, but it is a requirement, because when you just do lead generation without a plan, you're just it's like just dieting when you want. I'm going to eat good for 3 days and then I'm going to eat a box full of donuts. It's just a waste of time. Just go ahead and eat the box of donuts because you're wasting time. It's like going to the gym and working out. If you don't have a plan every time you walk in, you're done. So how does a plan start? You got to write it down. So if you take anything from this live, implement a plan. You'll have enough here by the end of this live stream. And number 2, you have to write it down. Now you can do it on pen and paper. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on a Google spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. I don't care what you do, but it is up to you. So the first thing is, this is a big one. This is a powerful one. Removing your feelings from your plan. Everyone's like, oh yeah, no problem. Easy said and done. No. I'm here to tell you, you guys struggle and let your feelings run your emotions every day. Now, you need it for your family, you need it for the people you love, and you need it for your friends. But I'm here to tell you, when it comes to business, you have to keep it business. Now, part of what we do, don't misunderstand what I'm saying, is we build rapport by developing relationships. And that does require you to invoke emotion and help people out and show feeling. But when it comes down to the marketing lead generation side of your business, there is 0 room for your emotions. In fact, your emotions will misguide you. They will throw you off. And the problem with your emotions is, if you do anything based on how you feel, you will never get anything done. Save your feelings for family time, weekends, whatever you need to do. But I'm telling you, when it comes to lead generation strategy, if your feelings are a factor in the decision of what you're going to do that day, don't even start. In fact, you will fail miserably. Let me give you an exact example. Ready for like this? A lot of you start with today, when you wake up in the morning, like, I feel like I just not feeling the cold calling today. I'm not going to do it. Or I feel a little bit sick today, so I think it's best if I just stay at home and don't do the driving for dollars. And guys, there's this thing called life that happens. Your thoughts are not your thoughts. They're just random crap that's mostly influenced by the outside environment of your life. And you got to look at thoughts and just let them pass by to a point. But the reality is, if you invoke those thoughts into your own personal feelings, you're never going to get squat done. I was one of the biggest problems with this. If you are going to do everything by the seat of your pants and you are going to market based on how you feel that day, now you're going to have some great days and some of you can do it, but like, here's the deal is, you've got to do this when you don't want to do it. I know that sucks. It's just the truth. This is why I've been wholesaling almost 22 years, because I just suck it up. I just suck it up and I go. I wasn't always this disciplined, but I learned over time, the people that were far exceeding me, the people that were doing better, were the people that always had a plan and just stuck to it. How'd they stick to it? I'm going to share with you right now how they stick to it. Number 1, unless you're deathly ill, you have to move forward with your marketing plan. You broke your arm, get a cast, stick to your marketing plan. You got a cold, suck it up, get a tissue, get some NyQuil, stick to the marketing plan. You have to move forward, guys. You can't let little things get in the way, because the little things will overtake your business and you'll never get anything done. Everybody understand it. You have to lose your feelings. I know you're thinking like, man, Rick, that's cold. It's the truth. Anyone who does any amount of significant business understands this. And the people that don't are destined to be broke the rest of their life. Guys, give me examples. You guys got friends and family. Their entire lives are ruled by their emotions. And when it comes to business, you have to find a way to build a wall and go, okay, I got to move forward. So you have to do that. Yeah. Number one, remove your feelings. Ready? Next one's could be more painful. You ready? You have to be extremely disciplined. And most of you, I would love to see in the comments, like, what do you think about, what does the word discipline imply to you? And I know my entire life, before I got into really high school sports, I thought discipline was like, I thought it was torture. I'm like, why would anybody want to do this? Now, to be fair, I didn't have great mentors in my life. And I didn't, until I got into, honestly, high school football and wrestling, I had coaches that looked up to me and said, listen, Rick, you could be great, but you're going to have to get like, you show signs of incredible like skills, but you have no discipline. And I'm like, how the hell do I get discipline? Like, what do I do? I go, it sounds like torture. And you know what? Here's what a coach sat down and said to me. You ready? Before I did that, so I want to see your guys' views. What do you think discipline is? It's Mike Tyson. Guys, discipline. So here was my view of discipline. You ready? Here's what most people think of discipline. Most people view it as a form of punishment. Think about it. I'm in school. I have to discipline my child. I'm in school. I have to discipline an employee because they did something bad. It sounds very negative. Think about it. And that's how we always interpret it. Like I always thought in school, like, oh God, I got to be disciplined. I'm in trouble. And so it burnt in my head till around my sophomore, junior year. And that's when my actual wrestling coach taught me this trick. You ready? Discipline equals the ultimate freedom in life. If you're willing to pay the price to get exactly where you want, the only way you can get there is by discipline, because any other action is going to be extremely random and you're not going to get where you're going. I swear, if someone just grabbed my head around this and took this all the way to wholesaling for me, I don't know what the potential would have been, but it would have been insane. So guys, do you understand? I want you to look at the phrase right here on your screen. Freedom. The real definition of it, discipline gives you the ultimate freedom you want in life. Give you an example. We talk about, say if you're going to lift weights. Why are you lifting weights? Some of you want to look better. That's how most people do it. Some want to just be physically stronger, and some just want to be healthier. So I can either just show up randomly at the gym and just do whatever I feel like at the time. Remember, if I let my feelings dictate how I work out, I'm going to be killed. And then the people that will pay the price for discipline will have a set routine, working out 3 to 5 days a week, multiple muscle groups. They know what they do. And then the really advanced ones, are ready for this? They write down the results. We're getting to that one. Do you understand what that takes? It's discipline. We all look at it as negative. And if you understand discipline, you're going to sacrifice and pay a price right now to really get what you want. But everybody wants a quick fix. Everybody wants to do Ozempic. Guys, eventually you're going to see studies come up about Ozempic. I believe it's going to shave years off people's life and make them look like garbage in the long run. You cannot hack Mother Nature, and you cannot hack a real marketing plan. So discipline. We're going to talk about through this. If you can discipline yourself to do a regiment. And how do you know you're disciplined? Number one, it gets really monotonous and extremely boring. Extremely boring. That's how you know you're in the right zone. We all try to mix up everything to keep everything like fresh and new during the day. And I'm here to tell you, when I do discipline, especially in wholesaling, I have an exact routine every day. Now, I didn't always start out like this, but I had a time set for marketing. I had a time I set for appointments. And then the biggest like meat and potatoes, what I did was all my follow-up calls in the evening. And that was one of the things that put me over the top. 2 hours every evening, nothing but follow-ups in my database. and it paid off huge dividends. When I wasn't doing that before, I was all over the board and it was extremely inconsistent. I'm here to tell you, if you truly want freedom in life, find a way to implement discipline. I'm talking about your health, your spiritual, your physical capabilities, and absolutely your business, probably one of the most important things. But you can do it with your family. You can set boundaries for those family members that are an absolute nightmare in your life. And guys, you have to have discipline. Without discipline, you are going to be in trouble. And most people view discipline as a form of punishment. Let me ask you this. We all know this, that um, you have a choice in life. You can either choose your destiny or the destiny will be chosen for you. End of story. This is a fact of life. You could sit on the couch, you can eat bonbons all day, never work out, and have extreme comfort and a nice comfy couch. You can binge Netflix, but guess what? It's going to catch up to you. You're going to get super lazy, you're going to get fat, you'll definitely be broke. And then you're going to have to decide to make a major change in your life or you won't have a life anymore. Whereas the person that just disciplined every day and just kept it going and did it in increments, then they can do whatever they want. They have all the money in the world they want to do with, and they're perfectly healthy. They're very attractive, and everything is at their fingertips. And the other person whines, how did I get this way? I don't understand. I'm like, because you weren't disciplined. So recognize it and fix it. So if you have a problem with discipline in your life, fix it now. Discipline's not about beating a child. It's not about reprimanding people. If you can instill the discipline, it is life-changing. When other people try to discipline you, it's usually a nightmare. We all know that beating our kids is not going to get you anywhere. You're better off sitting down and instilling long-term discipline with kids and show them why that eating better and not eating all that crap food, show them, all you have to do is show them what it does to people, and usually it would motivate people enough. But under the right direction, the right tutelage, discipline, if you can self-impose it, it is the absolute most power. As you know, back in school, when you had a dean or a principal or a teacher discipline you, it was terrible. You were just trying to get through it so like you could get through the moment. So we have to learn how to do self-discipline, and I'm here to show you how to do it. So let's talk about this. If discipline's a huge one, and to me, it's usually the hardest one of them all when it comes to a lead generation strategy. Number one, how do we create discipline? How do I create discipline? I'm talking about self-discipline. I'm not talking about disciplining your kids. I want to be in wholesaling. How can I be a disciplined wholesaler without like complicating everything in my life? Number one, very simple. To plan it. If you don't write it down, it doesn't exist. It only exists in your mind. And you're the only person who knows what's going on in your mind. And God forbid something happened with you, nobody else could ever figure it out. So get it out of your head and get it down on paper. Why? Because then it's objective. You can see it, you can touch it, and you can't change it. See, you can change your mind till you turn blue, but I'm telling you, if you write it down, it changes it. Have a marketing plan. Guess what? I don't care how crappy your marketing plan is. Write it down. So many of you come on here, ask you what your marketing plan is like. It's just how I feel today. That's not a plan. That's not even a hobby. I'm not even going to give you credit as a part-time wholesaler. Write it down. If you haven't written it down, write it down. If Rick, that's painful for me, sorry. Type it out on the computer. I'm not telling you to write in cursive or do anything that's going to like make it difficult for you. If you don't write it down, you don't have a plan for it, it's not going to work. Does everybody understand that? All right. The next thing is, every one of you have this somewhere on your phone. You have a calendar. Okay. I'm telling you right now, almost all your calendars, probably 99% of them are free. Maybe some of you guys use Advanced. Most of you use the Google Calendar or use like an Outlook or a Microsoft product. Use the calendar for your marketing strategy, your marketing plan. Put it in the calendar. You got 7 days a week. Start writing down your schedule. Now, you're going to have to factor in if you're raising kids, if you're going to school, if you have transportation on certain days. Only you know that. So you're going to have to cater your schedule to your current load. If you're working, You're going to have to work around that. I did that for 8 months while I did wholesaling because I couldn't afford to quit my corporate job, like a lot of you watching this. So I had to write a schedule and work that out. I did a schedule while I worked, and then I got off of a schedule, and that's when things came. My marketing fell apart. And then well, guess what? I wrote it down and it happened again. So inside the calendar, it's real simple, guys. You can dedicate a marketing calendar. You can integrate it with your personal life. Write it down. If you put it in the marketing calendar, it pops up. And then the other thing is you can set an appointment. It'll remind you 10 minutes before, hey, you're doing cold calling for 2 hours. It rings up on your phone. Now you kind of like, God dang it, I can't get away from it. It's here. I got to do it. You see, now you can't escape your own BS. You have to do it. And if you write it down, so start with the calendar, probably the most powerful way to do it, because none of you have an excuse because it's all in your phone. The calendar, Google, Microsoft, Outlook, whatever it is, I don't give a crap. Just do it. You can color code them. You can prioritize them. You can make it an all-day event. It doesn't matter. The other little features you all have in your phones that are built in there, a to-do list. Now, a to-do list can be a weekly list. It can be a daily list, depending on how busy you are. And my to-do list is like, okay, here's the top priority stuff I got to get done. And then the bottom half is stuff I've got to get accomplished by the end of the week. So I always set mine daily. And here's the key. You set it the night before. If you're really good, you set it the week before, but hey, let's just start. Let's walk before we run here. Let's set it the night before. So before you go and put your head on the pillow, write out the things that are an absolute priority, and then you work out the things you want to get accomplished by the week. And eventually you'll get sick of waiting till Friday to do everything, and you'll start spreading it out during the week. A to-do list is extremely powerful, and you can color code them however you want, and they can coincide with your marketing calendar. Guys, calendars are great. Next thing, simple Excel spreadsheets, guys. You're going to need this. I'm going to go over why you're going to need it, but they're really, really important to have. Another one that I really like, especially in the beginning, when they came out with Google spreadsheets, I thought it was one of the greatest things I ever saw, is a free document that you can have on your desktop computer, you can have on your mobile device, on your phone, and it reminds you of everything needs to get done. You can write stuff down, and I enjoy it. Why? Because I don't have to keep downloading and uploading documents. And if you have a business partner, or say you have a spouse or somebody else that helps you out with it, like you can make real-time adjustments in any type of document. And I think Google spreadsheets are actually any type of like the Google online products. They're great. I'm not talking about Google in general. It's a pretty unique product. You have to admit it. So between the Google online sheets and the Google word processing sheets, whatever they call it, I don't think they can call it Word, but they work really well. And I like it. And remember, you always have the ability to download them and put them in a CSV file to put a regular Excel spreadsheet, or download it to put it in a regular Word document. And that's why I really like it. So guys, for us to do this, we have to make it work. So if somebody says a not to do list, we'll create that list. Don't worry about that. So the next part is, so let's review real quick. Number one, you have to remove your feelings. You can't wake up and go, I don't feel like cold calling today. Unless you're deathly ill, you're calling. And if you got a cold, get a snot rag and call it a day and just dial. You're going to sound like Rod Stewart. It is what it is. That's what you have to do. Number two is you have to plan it. You got to write it down. And you've got technology. Guys, you can go old school and just put it on a pad of paper. I don't care how you do it. But if you don't write it down, I don't believe you. And guess what? I bet you don't believe yourself either. And if we both don't believe it, then it's never going to happen. And we have to fix it as soon as possible. So coming in at number three, you ready? Tracking. You can't have a marketing plan if you don't track it. I'm going to guess that 8 out of 10 people that do marketing and wholesaling don't track squat. I can tell. Like, Should I do this? Should I continue to do it? I don't know. You tell me. So let me show you where I'm going with this, because this is really, really important. You have to track stuff. Think about a business. Like, think about if I ran Google as a company CEO. Think about if I ran it on my feelings. I ran it without a plan, and I never tracked anything. How long do you think I'd last as that CEO? You'd be wiped out in a week. And so to move the needle in anything in business, we have to have a plan. So one of the final parts is tracking. Tracking is extremely vital. Here's what tracking does for you guys. It gives you feedback of data without emotional bias. It does not let you sit there and lie to yourself all day. That felt really bad. Well, it felt really good to your bank account. I know the person was difficult, but did you frame them? Did you condition them? Like, there's so many rules that you break that we teach over at freewholesaling.com that if you just followed it, I could have helped you out with it. So I'm telling you, by tracking it, you're going to get feedback. Some of you are not going to like the feedback. Why? Because here we go. We're going to go right back to your feelings, because it hurts your feelings. It's painful. Let me give you an example. When I was younger, I don't know about you, like when I didn't have a lot of money, I used to dread looking at my bank account. Dread it. I remember the first time you could pull up your bank account and you could look at it on your phone. I'm just like, and I would dread looking at it. My poor wife had to deal with this. I was just hoping there was like just enough money in there, like the numbers weren't red, because you all know what the numbers are when they're red. It's embarrassing as hell. It means you have a negative balance. And like, I used to get overdraft protection. That was my priority. It's like ridiculous. But when I didn't like the data, instead of fixing it, I avoided it. So here's how you fix this problem: is get the data. If it's bad and it's not working out, we fix it. The worst thing you can do is not track the results, because you're scared your feelings are going to hurt. It's going to make you feel bad. It's only going to make things 10 times worse. So you have to start by tracking and consistently do it regardless of the results. Once you track, then you can make decisions, you can pivot, and you can actually get the truth of what's going on in your marketing. Here's the reality, guys. You got to understand this. Data does not lie. People do. You can't. Now, you can manipulate data, but if you're truly going to track your results, Rick, what is tracking results? How many calls did I receive? How many contacts did I make? How many driving for dollar leads did I get this week? How many SMS text messages I send out? How many contracts did I write? These are all in your face, like real lead generation strategy KPIs, which means key performing index leaders, that you have to track to actually find out if what you're doing works. A lot of what we're doing, guys, remember, all real estate is local. If you don't know what works in your local market and you just keep doing it over and over just because a guru told you to do it, you're going to get killed. All real estate's local. What works in my market might not exactly work to a T in your market. You're going to have to make adjustments. How do I make adjustments? I have to track my numbers. Number one, I know everyone who tracks their numbers is extremely serious about their wholesaling, and I can help them out immensely. If you're not serious, I'm probably the worst guy for you. I do not help hobbyists in this business. I don't know how to do it. Like, it's a business. You seek through it and you get through it. So remember, look on the screen right here. Data does not lie. People do. So here's how you fix it. You track the data results and you write them down. It is a truth seeker, a truth teller. And if we have the truth, like I always tell you, if I know the truth, I can now address the problem. So number one, I have to know what the real truth is. Then I have to acknowledge it, like, okay, we might have a problem here. And then I have to decide a course of action to fix it, period. Even when things are going good, I want the data, because maybe we can double down on a marketing strategy we're doing. So here's a problem: is you guy goes, well, I've made 5,000 cold calls. I really, I don't have, it's not working. Should I quit? I don't know. What's the data say? You see, when you look at the data, it is like a lie detector hitting you in the face. And that's what I love about data. So data does not lie. People do. And if you understand that, if you take people's opinions, you're going to be upset in life, because rarely it's the truth. Most people are going, so everybody has an opinion, period. I've never met someone who doesn't have an opinion. To me, they're worthless because there's no information backing it up. Without data, an opinion is worthless to me. It's like a hypothesis in science. You have to have the data to support it. Business is the same way. We just use different words to do it. So once you guys have the data, guess what? Once you have the data hitting you in the face, it's like some of you right now, pull up your bank account. If it bothers you, fix it. But here's what most people do when they don't like their bank account. They just avoid looking at their bank account. Instead of saying, okay, I don't like that number. I got to find a way so I'm not in this position anymore. Maybe you decide wholesaling is your path out. Guess what? After I go to freewholesaling.com, I talk to Rick and Zach. I have to have a marketing plan. I'm going to have to become extremely disciplined, and I'm going to have to remove my emotions from it, and I have to track my results. That's how you make this business work. You can't just do lead generation without talking about this stuff, because you're doomed to fail. It's like, I got a tank of gas. There's the engine, but I have no idea how to start it. I haven't read the manual. Like, what are you going to do? The gas isn't going to do anything by itself. That's how lead generation, it is the gas to put in your engine called wholesaling. Once you fire that thing up, you better know how to operate it. And this is how you do it. So if we know data doesn't lie and people do, once I have the data, and I'm giving you the prime example, if you do not like your bank account, if you do not, let me tell you what, God knows I've done this a million times. I'm not picking on anyone here. If you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, like physically, make a decision. Either embrace and love yourself for who you are and just love it and own it, or change it. It's not going to change overnight, because I know all in society, well, I need overnight change. Okay, go get your Ozempic. But like, once you lose the weight, what are you going to do? If I had a magical pill to fix everybody's marketing, but I told you it's going to expire in a year, you're being an idiot to take it, because you didn't learn anything. It's like you got a cheat code, but the cheat code is going to expire, and then you're going to go back to being broke. And worst case scenario is then you're going to have terrible spending habits and be broke. It's going to drive you like to become bankrupt. And I'm here to tell you, stop looking for the cheat code. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, come up with a plan, write it down, and institute it, and remind yourself daily. You don't need willpower. You need discipline. Discipline is something you do every day. The outcome of your life, if you want to accept this or not, for the most part, at least in the United States, is basically a summation of everything you do every day. Every decision you make, every piece of food you put in your mouth, every type of marketing strategy you implement or choose not to implement. All the combination of the little things makes you who you are. So everybody wants to fix everything overnight. Start fixing the little things. Everything I'm talking about today. We're going to talk about the leads. That's the easy part, guys. This part is the hard part. This is where most people screw it up. Trust me, I know this. I've broken every one of these, by the way. So once you look at your bank account and you don't like it, or you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you have a choice. You can avoid it. You can get rid of the mirrors, put a towel on it. You can put on a sweatshirt. You can put on long pants. You could stop looking at your bank account. Or why don't you do this one? Just stop lying to yourself. That's the easiest way. Just stop lying to yourself. Go, crap, I hate being broke. I don't like being fat. I just say, okay, I'm broke. I got to fix it. God knows I raised my hand way too many times, said I'm broke. I just couldn't figure out what vehicle to fix it. Listen, being overweight and stuff, like, there's a lot of things that go in life. I'm not making excuses. We could all use to slim down with the crap we eat in the United States. Don't get me started on processed foods, guys. It's poison to your body. Like, your body doesn't know what to do with it. That's why we accumulate so much fat. But if you don't like what you're doing, first of all, recognize I don't like it. You don't have to accept it. Stop trying to be average, because average sucks. Average sucks in this country. And go, you know what? I'm going to fix this. Get excited about it. Go, man, now I'm going to look super good because I'm going to choose to look this way, or I'm going to fix my bank account. If you're going to use wholesaling, dynamite. Let's kick butt with it. But number one, just stop lying to yourself. Stop saying you're going to diet tomorrow. Stop saying you're going to fix your bank account tomorrow. If you want to get into wholesaling, go over to freewholesaling.com and start with a marketing plan and make it super simple in the beginning. We'll share with you on how to do it because I get to ask a bunch of you on the live stream here. It'll be fun. So I want you to understand, once you stop lying to yourself, because you have a choice. When you look at your bank account or use the bathroom mirror or whatever, it's the long length one. That one can be really mean to you. And you can go, you just walk away, do nothing about it and go, I'm just going to cover this up, or I'm going to avoid my bank. I'm going to delete my banking app, or just go, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This isn't me. This isn't what God intended me to be. I've made these choices, so I have to fix it. I'm going to move forward. You're going to have to use discipline to do this. It's the daily habits. Everything you put in your mouth, every action you take towards your wholesaling is going to dictate your bank balance. It's also going to dictate your physical appearance. We're too wimpy in this country to just admit our problems. We all have problems. We're all working on them. But when you don't want to deal with it, which is a majority of the United States, this is why we have so many problems in society. So I'm talking about you. I want to fix your problems, but you have to start by, number one, just stop lying to yourself. Stop it. A lot of you guys are doing wholesaling just on a wing and a prayer, and it shows. So if you stop lying to yourself, once you can recognize the truth, then you can fix the problem. But most people I'm just a few 100 pounds overweight. It's not a big deal. I'm like, yeah, but last year you were 75 pounds overweight. Now you're 100 overweight. What do you think the next few years are going to be? Just Tony Robbins has an exercise. If you ever have a chance to go to Unleash the Power Within, where he calls it I think it's the Dickinson effect. I forget. But basically, if you ever watched, God, what was that movie? The famous Christmas movie, where the guy's getting ready to jump off of a bridge because his whole life flashes, and then the I don't know, whatever, the Christmas ghost comes out and he walks him through everything, through his whole life and everything, and says, listen, if you keep going this route, this is where you're going to wind up. If you keep drinking, if you keep eating, if you keep if you keep losing your job, if you don't start your own business, and basically at the end, it gets you so frustrated. He goes, this is what life's going to look like in 10 or 20 years down the road. And then they snap you back from a meditative state and says, listen, you have the power to fix it right now. You know where you're going if you don't fix it, but that's where you're going to be. That's what you guys have to do right now. You have to fix it because it's painful. I get it. A lot of us have been taught just piss poor habits from our family, from a lot of our friends. Guys, I'm telling you, you work with me and Zach, I'm going to give you the good news, bad news. I can get you, money will never be an object if you will follow what I do. But you're also going to lose a lot of your friends. You're like, crap, I don't want to do that. Trust me, you do. Most of your friends are holding you back. Most of them are just average. Most of them just want to a 9 to 5, just get me through work so I can pay my rent or mortgage. Do you really think God put us on this earth to live like that? Listen, our tax system in the United States is beyond screwed up. The only way to beat it is make so much money and use all the rules that your U.S. tax codes have written to get ahead. Otherwise, if you're a straight up W-2 employee, it's going to be painful in the long run. God knows I was. It was an absolute nightmare. And I'm here to tell you, just stop lying to yourself. And I'm going to give you a phrase right here. So a lot of people tell you some of the worst advice I ever got when I started out wholesaling. You ready for this? They said, fake it till you make it. Now, I always thought that was terrible advice. Even when I had no experience, I go, I don't like the word fake, especially in any type of financial setting, especially real estate, especially financial. Fake it till you make it. I'm like, the hell does that mean? That's pretty much the internet guru standard phrase. I will never, ever subscribe to it. I fought that phrase over 20 years ago, and today it's finally coming back to kind of support my cause on it. There's too many pretenders and there's too many fakers out there. So, Rick, well, how am I supposed to be successful at wholesaling, especially on a lead generation strategy, if I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to do it? Number one, write it down. Like simple. Go to freewholesaling.com and start. This isn't like grade school. This isn't like college where you have to study 12, 16 years and then you're ready. Once you have this diploma, then you're ready to go out into the work field and find out what life's really about. You have to do it as you go along. That's how you actually learn. So here's what you have to do. Instead of fake it till you make it, you have to be it to see it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And in order for you to be it, number one, lose your feelings when it comes to business, especially dealing with the structuring your business. Number two, you're going to have to write down a plan. You have to write it down. Number three, you're going to have to become extremely disciplined. How do you do that? You start being disciplined now. Rick, I don't really have any money. That's the best time to become disciplined because you can't screw it up. There's no financial constraint on writing something down or putting it in your phone. Don't get me started on iPhones. I mean, $1,400, $1,500 you guys are paying on phones. You should own at least 5 stocks in a phone before you buy like an iPhone. So as I go, Rick, I can't, I don't even know what Apple even sells for anymore, but that's $3,000 or $5,000 in stock. I go, yeah, put the money in the stock, buy that, go get your basic, like, I don't know, the Mint phone or whatever, the 30 or $50, because guess what? Which one's going to pay you more? The Apple phone, it's paid me 50 times over since I bought in the stock over 12 years ago. The iPhone, I do need it for business. And I'm not like a giant iPhone supporter. I do it mostly for my family, but it is a pretty cool phone. But I don't like what Apple does with their whole phone technology. But the reality is people will do anything to get an iPhone, like anything. I've seen absolutely broke people making less than $10,000 a year and they have an iPhone. Explain that to me one day. So in order to be it, you have to be it to see it. What do I mean by that? You got to write it down. You got to become massively disciplined and you got to lose your emotion. You got to start that process before you even make nickel one. And if you do it, you can easily see the vision because once it starts to come in, you're like, oh, great. Let me give you a story. I go fishing. I love fishing. I love fishing analogies. But the reality is before I go fishing, nobody sees. I will spend 3 to 4 hours to prepare for a trip. And that's on the light side. That's if we're not going to the Bahamas or something like here locally. Why? I got to get the baits ready. I got to get the boat fueled up. I've got to put new line on the reels. I got to look at my charts. I got to get a plan set where I'm going to get bait. I got everything ready to go in the morning. I bring everything down to the boat the night before. And like nobody sees me. I'm literally covered in sweat. And so when people come to go fishing with me, like right before they come, I swear to you, I take off my shirt. I take a towel. I rinse down and I wipe everything down. I'm in South Florida. It's hot as hell here. And like, oh my God, they hop in. It's so easy. It's so fun what we do with fishing. You go, you didn't see the 30 years of my knowledge preparing before that trip. You didn't see the 4 hours the night before and the thousands of dollars I've spent to master this, like to give you the ultimate experience. Wholesaling is the same thing. It's just not, we are fishing. We're just fishing for great wholesale deals. So I didn't see the fish. I had to do the actions. I had to go through each step. And then once I get there, I put the lines out like, where's the fish? Where's the fish? All of a sudden, the fish show up and like they're coming in the boat left and right. Why? Because we're prepared. We've studied. We have a plan. I've written down the plan and we take action. And by the way, when I go fishing, it doesn't always work out the way I planned it. Same thing in wholesaling. It is no different. You have to be it to see it. Stop faking it till you make it. I know that TikTok's a big push on that, but I'm here to tell you, if you came over here from TikTok, God bless you, but you're going to actually have to do it. Then you will see it. Be it, see it. Don't fake it till you make it, because fakers will fake it for the rest of their life. Anyone who's ever gave me that phrase. The other phrase I find truly ironic is a serial entrepreneur. There's no such thing. That's a fake it till you make it type of person. You want to find one craft that you're really good at and go laser deep into it. If you want to invest in other businesses and income producing assets, that's fine. That's not a serial entrepreneur. A serial entrepreneur goes business to business to business because they can't figure it out. And they believe it's the business that's the problem. But guess what? It's the person that's the problem, not the business. I've been wholesaling. I'm going on 22 years. I found my home. Why? Because I'm really good at it and I enjoy it. How did I do it? I removed my emotions. I wrote down a plan. And I become extremely disciplined. Discipline's going to seem boring and monotonous. If it seems boring and monotonous, like you ever watch the movie Groundhog's Day? If you have it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like we have a phrase here, all in the office, all my employees, everything, like, it's time to make the donuts. Like, let's go. Let's get a deal. Guys, I make $50,000 in a week. It's gone by Friday. It's out of my bank account. It's in another account. I tell everyone we're broke. We need to go fight. I remember every day like I just started wholesaling yesterday. That way, I never get complacent with what I do. So be it to see it. Now you need to write your marketing plan. I'm telling you right now, if you have not written a marketing plan, I actually literally want you to stop this video and do it. Like, if you're watching this in the recorded section, stop right now and write it out. And guess what? It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you write it out, you can at least start formulating it. It is like writing your first edition of a book. It's going to suck at first, and then we can formulate it. Freewholesaling.com, we give you all the tools to help you formulate your marketing plan. But I need you. I can't get in your head. You understand that? I can't see what's going on in that head. God knows I try to look through your eyes deep in there, but I don't know what's going on, and I cannot tell. So it's very, very important that you understand we know how to do it. Oh gosh. Okay. I gotta see, you get me talking about fishing and get me in trouble because that's like, don't go on this channel and start talking about fishing. I love fishing. And by the way, wholesaling feeds my fishing addiction. So, allows me to fish during weekdays and, buy very expensive toys, but, listen, whatever makes us happy. Right. So now we have to write a marketing plan. So I'm going to give you examples of what you need to write with a marketing plan. I'm going to keep going through this because I want to jump on the lives with you guys. Okay. You ready? I'm going to give you a series of questions that should be part of your marketing plan. So a good marketing plan is going to answer questions for you because that's what like calms your nerves and go, okay, now I have a plan. Now I know how to go forward. So when you reach out to me, you come on a live and go, Rick, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I made X amount of calls and I didn't get anywhere. I'm like, what's the plan? Well, I don't know. So you're just going to call till you fail? That's not a plan. That's terrible. So number one, I'm going to run through these quickly so I can get through this. How many government lists to pull? How many? Which ones you're going for? And what's your due date by them? Remember, if you go chase 7 or 8 marketing lists, especially government lists, if you get a half of them, it's a win. Some of you call me and you get like so disappointed. I went out for 7 lists and only got 2 of them. Great. You got 2. Let's get it started, right? Don't dwell on what you don't have. Dwell on what you do have. Kind of like the gratitude. We can do that on another one. Ready? Cold call. What's your cold calling expectation? A lot of you guys are cold calling. I love cold calling. But how many hours a week are you going to dedicate it to it? And which days are you going to cold call? Are you on Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Or are you Monday through Friday? I don't care what it is. Put it on that damn calendar. Put it on that marketing plan. So the marketing plan is going to have the total numbers. And then your marketing calendar will break down the daily actions you need to take to be disciplined. Let me repeat that. Your marketing plan will write down the broad scope of what you want to get done in a given month in wholesaling. And you can break them down each category: cold calling, direct mail, texting, door knocking, driving for dollars, reverse driving for dollars. Then your marketing calendar will break down the specific actions you need to take. Now, all of us are different. So if you have a full-time job, you're going to have to work around those hours and make sure you plan accordingly. If you have to pick up and take the kids to school, you got to work around that. You're already in your car. Perfect time to do driving for dollars and just get boring as hell. This is the secret. Some of you guys are like, oh, Rick, I'd love you to come and drop in my market. First of all, you come into my market, you're going to be bored how we do stuff because it's monotonous. It's not sexy. I love doing the deal, but all the work it takes to get to doing the deal beforehand is not pretty. I'm not going to lie to you. It's the truth. Cold call, how many? What's your total number of contact goals? Like contact means I actually talked to someone and we had a conversation. Maybe good or bad, but you should have a total contact number for your month. And then on your calendar, you can set what the result was per week. Remember, you have to focus. So many of you want to refocus on the result and skip the action. The action's what drive the results. Without action, there is no result. But you can't get a result without an action. Do you see what an oxymoron it is? And so many people just want the sexy, there's the $50,000 check. Listen, look at the work it takes to get to the $50,000 check. Look at the actions it takes. I'm trying to break it down for you right now. Driving for dollars. My recommendation, at least 100 a week. And I think that's light. I won't even tell you what kind of numbers we push in our offices. We love driving for dollars. Why? Because it is a private list. It is a visual list. And this is where you're going to find the most, outside of direct probates, this is where you're going to find the probates. You're going to find the code violation. It is a culmination of the crappiest houses. And there's a story behind every one of those houses. The more leads you generate in driving for dollars, the higher probability you have of getting a deal and getting lucky. Luck is all about preparation and opportunity. So you have to get in your car and drive it. How many days a week are you going to do driving for dollars to hit these goals? That's where we take the marketing plan and we break it down to the calendar. So if Tuesday, Thursdays, you're driving for dollars and say you don't have 100 leads, you need to throw in Saturday or Friday in there. Stop making excuses for yourself and get it done. What days of the week are you doing driving for dollars? I just talked about this before. I keep going on, guys, here. Texting. If you're doing it manual, you should try to be ripping out 50 to 100 texts a day. You can do it through Google Voice. If you don't know how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. We show you how to do it. How many digital bandit signs are you posting per week? Freewholesaling.com and teach you how to do it. I'm not going to do it on this one. I don't have enough time. How many are you doing? Guys, I've watched thousands of deals being taken down this way. Is it easy? No. But the person who is most disciplined and goes, okay, I have a guy that does this 5-6 days a week, gets 2 to 4 deals a month just from this strategy alone. Why? Extremely consistent, just like an animal, just discipline, has it set on the calendar, has a monthly worksheet for what he wants to do. This is it. How many physical bandit signs are you doing per week? Oh, you're too good for bandit signs. I get it. Listen, if you don't have a deal, you're like, don't worry about it. You do it all. And I'm not talking about going out and buying 500 signs and spending $1,500. You know how I teach this. Go out, get 10, 15 signs at your box store, find a local sign company, go get a giant black marker, 3 lines, sell your house today, any condition, any situation, and your virtual phone number on one side. White coroplast, black ink. It's very, very simple. I can't. And then you just do it in a section where people drive by. They'll take a picture of the sign. You want to be near like a Walmart. You want to be near a, what's the other one that we really like? Walmart's one of the biggest ones. Target. Just places like that where it's going to have a ton of traffic, where the everyday average person goes in, the blue collar worker, to get their stuff. Is dynamite. You do not want it on a road where people are going 70 miles an hour. They're not going to see it. It's got to be close to a stop sign, preferably a stoplight. And if you don't know where to put them, just look where the mattress people are. God knows they print a crap load of signs. I used to own a sign company. The political signs are a bit of a nightmare right now. I get it. And then the other one are like dating sites. Wherever those people put it up, that is where they get all their business off bandit signs. And I would definitely copy the areas where they're putting them in, because listen, people put stuff up where they actually get results from it. And here's the key to the bandit signs. Answer the phone. How many calls did you get a week? Real simple. Guys, what about land deals? Are you guys targeting land deals? Like, to me, it's a great strategy for wholesaling. I avoided land deals forever because I didn't really understand it. Now I completely understand it. I love land. One of the huge advantages of land is you can do it virtually. And number 2, people don't have a strong grasp of what the value of their land is. And this is still behind the times of technology. It is hard for computers and algorithms to price out land. So most people buy a piece of land, say they spend 10 or 15 grand for it. 10 years goes by. A lot of times, if you pay them double what they bought it for, say you bought it for 10, they bought it for 10, you buy it for 20. Like, yeah, that's good. You still have the opportunity to sell it for 30, 40, or 50 grand. Why? It's unemotional. They don't live in the property. If the contract falls out, it's no big deal. I love land deals. Like, do not overlook land deals, guys. You can pick up 1 or 2 land deals a month, and this is a great lead generation strategy for wholesaling. Remember, land is great. It's just got the house moved off of it. The biggest key when you deal with land is you have to find out what cash buyers are willing to pay for a piece of land in that area. Once you find it out, you're absolutely golden. This is the perfect opportunity for what we call reverse wholesaling strategy. Once again, freewholesaling.com, it's all in there. The other one is JV deals. Guys, the ZachDiscord.com, you are really missing out on this. How many contacts you're going to make per week on this? I have one person I'm working with now. He's doing 1 deal a week just in this. And this thing's only been around for, I think, 2 months now. It's insanity. Think about this. And I believe we're one of the only free Discords out there. It goes right along with what we teach. The more people we teach, the more money I make. Why? Because I show people how to do wholesaling correctly. I don't teach it like any of the other gurus do. Why? Because I've been doing it longer than most gurus have been around doing this. And I understand the fundamentals of wholesaling. It will never change. You guys can do all these other strategies. You can do novations. You can do these, your everything you think is a workaround. You're avoiding the work. Remember, I told you earlier, if you can just deal with the problem you have, recognize it, just go it. Trying to avoid wholesaling, it just means you're never going to make it, in my opinion. If you're doing creative financing because you're scared of wholesaling, you'll get killed in creative financing. It is no different in a way. It is a different strategy. It requires experience, and it is not for the beginner. I'm sorry. Unless you have a very, very strong business partner that has a strong foundation and financials to back them up, doing creative financing because you're scared of wholesaling is one of the worst strategies you can ever take. Remember, we're talking about lead generation strategies. Avoiding wholesaling is, in my opinion, the worst strategy you can take, because it's like if you're scared to go to the dentist, like, I'm not going to go to the dentist, I'm just going to avoid it forever. Your teeth will eventually rot out. You'll fail in real estate and you'll wind up right back here trying to figure out wholesaling. Period. End of story. So let's just sum it up with this, guys. You have to be it to see it, especially in lead generation. To have the best lead generation strategy, guys, I could go on all day. Every lead generation strategy that you can ever find is simply over at freewholesaling.com. And like, I know this pisses off a lot of the gurus. I just tell you what it is. I get rid of all the sales fluff out of it and go, hey, this is what you need to do. Freewholesaling.com. Go in there, check it out. We have a million different types of lead strategies, but we stick to the fundamentals of wholesaling. There is no other way for us to do it. If there's too many smokes and mirrors and like people make the water murky and you got to pay me $5. Someone told me on a live the other day, they found our channel. They almost paid $12,000 for a tenth of the information that me and Zach give out in our course. Can you imagine $12,000? And so what's the big pitch? Why would you guys pay someone $10,000 or $12,000 to each wholesaling? Do you think the price tag's sexy and like, oh my God, they must know what they're talking about? Ask them how much experience they have. Ask them for the last 5 HUDs they've personally done. And tell them, let me look at your course before I buy it. I guarantee you'll have crickets the entire way. For most of them, I'm sure there's a few exceptions. There's some quality people out there. But for the most part, give me 10 gurus. I'm going to have 8 of them that are going to crap all over you. And the other ones are so expensive, you could just go to freewholesaling.com and I would just give it to you for free. Why? Number one, I'm tired of a paywall being stuck between you and wholesaling. Number two, the more people I teach, the more relationships I form, and the more deals I do together. I have people that I've started out with, I've done 20, 30 deals with. I have people that just started out, we're doing JV deals on it, and I partnered up 50-50. But I'm looking for great deals. Everybody knows I don't like buy marginal deals. They just don't work for me. And I will tell you straight up, you can take the deal down. I'm confident you can get it done. And I'm going to try to tell you to do it every time. So if I don't take the marketing, the coaching fee up front, like, why am I doing this? Why? Because I want to be the biggest wholesaler there is, period. And I'm let all the other guys chase the coaching dollars, because to me, that is a very short-term mindset. And it's been handed down generation to generation. I was taught it back in 2003. Everyone poached on me, and now they're poaching on you. Go to freewholesaling.com. I will save you from the poaching. You don't need it. Listen, anyone who tries to teach this business a one-on-one, run to the hills. You are not getting a quality coach one-on-one. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. It means they have way too much time on their hands and not very good. It's just the truth of one-on-one coaching. So, okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer some questions. We're going to hop on the lives. Anything is fair game to a point. But let's do it. So I had a couple. So someone says, Rick, do you do guide for fishing? You know, the funny thing is, I thought when I was a young man, that's why I was so passionate about fishing as a child. Like every waking moment, I was either fishing in a canal, on a lake, or in the ocean, or on the beach. And but I did get wise. I did get some good advice from some people saying, don't be a guide. You're going to be broke. You'll be happy, but you'll be broke. And to me, that was a deal breaker. So a lot of my friends are guides. I love them. It is a different type of job. It's kind of like being a teacher, and it's got its rewarding. So what I do is I take my my career of wholesaling, which I still love. I love dealing with people. And guys, there's some days I just don't want to be on the ocean. When it's 7-foot seas, I hate being out there. I can do it. I just I don't want to do it. It hurts a lot more. And number two, I rather have all the toys in the world. So when I do go fishing, it's just an absolute blast. So even when we don't catch fish, just being on an amazing boat with amazing friends, and the boat is my golf course, and I just love it. And it's one of the main attractions of being in Florida. Without it, but like, we didn't have the water here, there's no way in hell I'd be here. So I do love it, but the problem is, if I earned, say you earned $1,000 a day as a guide, which is on an average net on a day by the time all the fees, there's only 365 days a year. That's $365,000. I did the math right off the way. I go, why would I limit myself? Now, I was extremely broke. Don't get me wrong. I would have been very happy with that. But the problem is, a good guide only fishes about 275 days a year. So now you're down to 275,000. People get seasick. The weather doesn't cooperate. People don't show up. So the problem is, I have to trade my time to guide, and that's where I have a problem with it. But I love to hire guides. I love doing it, and it's really cool. But you're better off doing your passion and wholesaling, and then just go doing what you truly want to do in life. Are bonita big fish? They're annoying as hell in Florida. We can't get rid of them in the summertime. I could catch 1,000 bonita because nobody really wants them. So it's a type of tuna you really can't eat. I guess you technically can. And in the summertime, they're a real big problem for us. So we try to avoid bonita at all costs. Other parts up in like the Carolina stuff, they think it's a really cool fish. It makes no sense to me. They get about 15, 20 pounds. That's it. Hell of a fighter, though. Really good. So, okay. And I had a couple. What was the other one? That's funny. So Angel comes up with the one-liner. And this is like, if I had to come up with a book, my problem with wholesaling courses is it was cheesy back in 2003. It's just as bad today. It's like only accepting 2 more people, DME X to make millions to run, or like, I only got 2 spots left. I just, like, guys, after a while, you see the handwriting on the wall. By the way, here's my favorite one is we have to do a discovery call. No, you don't. You know what the discovery call is? Guys, what do you think the discovery call consists of with a guru? We got to see if you're qualified. Listen, even back in the day when I worked for someone that did this, and we did not part friends. We actually parted in a lawsuit because this was in my DNA. I just tell it the way it is. Um, they used to have this ridiculous, like, Rick, we're going to sit. So back then we did interviews. Believe it, we had to come in office and interview. I'm just like, I'd tell the owner, I go, they're broke. He goes, yeah, but they have a credit card. We'll do payment plans with them. I go, I'm not doing that. And I constantly got in trouble because I would tell people, I go, I would go do a couple deals and then maybe come back and see if we can help you out. There's just no scruples in life anymore. It's disgusting. People will take. So here's what your qualifying call is. Ready? Here's what it is. Qualifying call. Do you have money? Period. And then my favorite part is, what are you willing to invest in yourself? Which means, are you going to invest in my company? And that's what just drives me nuts. So, we could do this all day long. So, okay, let's get going here. And as Bill says, see, Bill's been around a long time, and what Bill doesn't tell you, me and Bill have done business before. Bill's in my local market. Awesome guy. Bill's got a lot of experience. He could probably help out a lot of you guys, but Bill's seen this time and time again. It's like, I mean, like South Florida was rampant with gurus. Tampa used to be like the headquarters. And then I think Cape Coral, that's where you got a lot of famous guru names. Guys, here's the best part is most of these gurus that like were so great and stuff, they don't even exist anymore. They're regular people. They don't even invest in real estate. It's just, it's so funny. The more popular the guru gets, usually the worse they are. It's just, that's what I've seen. It's just my opinion. So, okay. So let's jump on and do some lives. Who have I not spoken to here? So let's jump on and let's hit Justin. What's going on, man? How you doing? Can you hear me? Hold on. I can't hear you. Hold on. Mic's not working on this. Justin, can you hear me?
Hey, Rick, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got a
Good. Just got home from work.
It's kind of weird, man.
Oh, okay.
You got a delay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm hooked up to Wi-Fi.
It's okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
good,
I've been calling for about 10 days now. Made 600 calls, and my contact rate is 20%. And I have 3 leads, and I have one lead that is looking to sell in a few months, and then another lead who I could barely understand what they were saying. So I kind of just was staying on the phone and trying to get through as much information as I could. So that was kind of an issue, but I wrote out as many notes as I could. And then the third lead is a woman that wants to speak to her husband before she sells. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay. Well, that's not bad considering 600 calls. Like, it's not a bad thing. But like, so tell me what your key to maintaining like your schedule to get through 600 calls. Like, what's your plan?
What?
What's your plan to get those done? How do you do it?
Cold call after work. Like, I'm just getting home now. So I'm 33. So I'm in the like grind to 5 phase right now.
There you go. That's when I started 33. I tried like I worked for a company for almost 12 years, and I just lost my stuff. I can't do this anymore. And I found wholesaling by accident, like complete freaking accident. And I go, man, it's really cool. And, but I didn't burn my ships because I didn't have a choice. I had 2 young kids. I had a mortgage, and I just, for 8 months, every day ripped through it. Now, I didn't do cold calling. I wish I would have done it. It would have been extremely powerful, but I did door knocking. So I did it every evening after work. I didn't give a crap. I took the pre-foreclosure list and I knocked, scared out of my mind. And then I remember got my first deal, and I remember got my second and a third, and just, I just got so consistent. I was so looking forward to getting fired, like getting myself fired. And the rest is history. I went through it. Now, here, guys, so back then, my plan was I would get the pre-foreclosure list. I got it from somebody else because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And he goes, if you can knock on these doors, I'll split the deals with you. So my agreement was split the first 5 deals. Then he came back and said I had to do the first 10 deals. And then after deal 7, I said, screw this. Like, he was doing nothing, getting huge checks. And I more than paid him back for it. And I just said, he goes, you'll never figure this out without me. So then I had to figure out how to pull the list on my own, which took me a little while. And then I doubled down. I was going nights. I was doing weekends. My wife's like, you're crazy. I go, I got to get enough money to make sure I can leave this job because we're gonna have to pay for healthcare and everything else. And I was scared to death. But like sometimes, like just the pain motivation of like getting going, like helps out phenomenally. So if you've only been doing this, what, 10 days?
Officially, yeah. I have spent a lot of time like overthinking and overanalyzing before I finally started to pick up the phone. And I used a deal machine to just rip through the list.
Oh, well, good. I mean, you're
Yeah.
You're right there, man. You got any questions for me while you're on here? I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna try to derail you on anything going on there.
No, that's okay. I had a couple questions. Do you do a lot of deals in Chattanooga, in Tennessee?
I have done them. It's been a while. It's been about 3 years.
Okay.
It used to be one of my own virtual markets, so I kind of know it well. Not well, but good enough.
Oh, okay.
So
good enough.
I took areas that I've chased down, and I hit it during a very good time. And I don't know why we stopped doing it. There was something that came up. The problem is I was struggling a little bit with like some boots on the ground and stuff we're dealing with it. But remember, I do on average between 7 and 9 markets at a time. So we always kind of rotate to the one that's doing the best. I do like it though. It's got some challenges, got some rougher areas too. But
yeah.
I mean, there was like a lot of cheap houses when I bought in there, but they were easy to kind of move. But I'm trying to think what the challenge was there. We just switched markets eventually. So I have employees that help me out with all of them. And she just decided she could do a bigger and better market, which she did. And but I got no problems with it. I know the prices are way up from even a year ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get the hang of ARV and stuff like that.
So you doing it locally or virtually?
I'm local. I'm actually here. I'm like 20 minutes north of Chattanooga.
Perfect. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome. So
some good driving for dollars. I'm like right in my area. Like I said, a few leads already. So I think the
awesome.
biggest hurdle was just finally starting calling. And then like once I got through the first few calls, I was like, this is no big deal.
And what's your background before you did this?
I work at a chemical plant, so I'm in chemistry.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
So dude, the dude's in chemistry, which I honestly I couldn't get through chemistry to save my life. I got a strong C- to get through it. And it just goes to like a lot of people think wholesaling is all about sales experience. I'm just here to tell you, it's not.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to be a really good marketer. That's the highest skill set you get. The negotiating, it just comes along with it. Like you get better as it, like anything else you do, but like you don't need a high end. This is not a sales business. A sales business is when you work at a dealership and your boss says you need to sell everybody who walks in that door. Now, remember, when people walk in the car that buy a car, most people want a car. They don't need a car, like to a point, especially luxury cars. Yeah. Our challenge is if I have 100 prospects, the reality when you dust settles and you sort through all the crap, 3 to 5 will talk to you that have a legitimate problem. Mm-hmm. And then 1 to 3 of them are worth writing a contract. And if you get 1 or 2 of them to stick, you did well. So why am I going to sit there and try to sell every person? It's a waste of your time. You just qualify and find the people that are the most motivated, and then you try to help them solve their problem. And that's all you got to do. You'll get a lot better at 10 days. That's pretty amazing. Your discipline on it. And just keep with your plan you're going. So just so you guys know, he's working a full-time job, right? Monday through Friday?
More than full-time. It's yeah. Went to college, the whole 9. So.
And that didn't pan out for you?
I mean, it's panned out so far. I just want to make more money.
Yeah. It's just the problem is it's average, and like a W-2 wage earner, it's like, do you realize if you just made 100 grand in wholesaling, and say you had a W-2 job that paid you 100 grand, you guys realize you would get a 35% pay raise just by switching to wholesaling, because you get all the tax advantages of owning a business. As a W-2 employee, you are penalized the most. And that's how our government's set up. Our tax system set up where W-2, you have nothing to hide behind. You have to pay the full taxes on it. So they don't like when entrepreneurs like figure out how to do it. But remember, I didn't write the tax code. I just read the rules. It's like Monopoly. If you ever read the rules to Monopoly and played someone that you'll beat them 99% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's right here in the rules. It's like, it's an
House rules everywhere you go.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm just telling a lot of people, like, even if you were a job that made, say, a decent salary, 100K, and say you made 60 grand your first year in wholesaling, I'm here to tell you, you would actually earn more and have more freedom. And that's just the base starter salary. You should be able to make tenfold of that and just kind of go from there. I will tell you, everyone's like, Rick, what can you realistically make as a wholesaler? I hate that number, but the reality is, if you worked solo by yourself and maybe with a part-time assistant, with your guys, listen to me, with your eyes shut, $500,000 is like a no-brainer. I've never, ever made less than that. And I had times where I took 4 and 5 months off. The problem is, I have friends that have 17 employees in wholesaling. I ask them, like, literally, we're good friends. How much did you make? He goes, I won't know till my accountant tells me. He goes, I got an idea, but he swaps all around. He's like, Rick, I made, we made like $2.6 million, and I got 3 partners. By the time we split it and pay this, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. You go in the office at 7 in the morning, you leave at 7 at night. I go, I used to do that. I left that. He goes, God damn it, I'm doing the same thing, aren't I? I go, yeah. And I go, I know he's got good systems in place, and they brag about how many deals they do, but dude, he's not free. Like, he's miserable. And I'm just telling you, there is a point of diminishing returns in wholesaling, and I don't hide it from anyone. This is not, I'm just telling you, it is not a $10 million a year business. You have to have a completely different type of structure to do that. So if you're the type of person that's like, listen, I would love to work from home, make $500,000, $600,000, and be able to do what I want, wherever I want, dude, this is perfect for you. And that's why I did the big player move. It was 4 years I'll never get back. And honestly, I did it mostly when my kids went away to college, and I didn't like it. It's like, some people like that. If that's what makes you happy, knock yourself out. But like, there's a point of diminishing returns. There's only so, like, once you have to do 40 or 50 deals in a month, like, they're not nearly as profitable as you think they are. And then you're going to get stuck in fix and flip. You're definitely going to have a ton of rentals. And I like to sit back and cherry pick at like what I want. I own a lot of property, but I only pick the absolute freaking winners. So I had one time where I carried 32 properties, and I drove myself nuts. And I go, man, I take over like deals that pay me thousands per month. And the ones that pay me 50 or 100, I just get rid of them. And so you're only do 10 days, just create a plan and like create discipline in your life, and you'll be rewarded. And then you can decide when you want to leave. So the only other thing I do is I would set a target goal for a number that would make you leave your job. And this is how you do it. When your job's taking away from your wholesaling and the wholesaling is making more than your job, then it's a no-brainer answer. And that's how I left my corporate world. I don't think we should be reckless, especially if you have obligations and people that are dependent on you.
No, not in my situation, but I'm still not the type to burn all the boats just yet till I know I have that proof of concept,
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep at it, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah. I actually had one more question. So
Shoot.
I was listening to a podcast, and I know stay away from the gurus. I mean, I would classify this podcast as kind of in guru land, but I was listening to a guy talk about how he only calls real estate agents for leads. Have you ever done anything like that before?
So yes. So I do it. We do it on a regular basis, but I have a lot of experience on my side. Here's the problem with it. You do get deals through real estate agents. Let's face it, guys. I think 94% of all real estate goes through real estate agents. So I'm not a I'm not going to use foul language. I'm not dumb. Here's the problem. When people try to sell their coaching programs based on reaching out to agents only, it's pure fluff. Here's the problem in the beginning. You don't really know what you're doing, and it's going to bleed out terribly in front of the real estate agent, and you're going to get frustrated. Remember, they want big EMDs, they want proof of funds, and they don't want assignable contracts. I promise you, you're going to fight all three of those. And then how are you going to bring your cash buyers through? And that's the problem with every one of them. They're so bad. I will not do JVs when there's a realtor associated, especially on a new wholesaler, because it is the number one killer for newbies. Why? It's a super sexy course, right? Seems logical. Go through real estate agents, find the expired listings, and one of the big rat price changes. It's not a horrible strategy. As a beginner strategy, it's terrible because it seems really easy. You're going to pay someone a few $1,000s to teach you how to do it. And then in 3 months, you're going to come back to me and go, Rick, I didn't get a deal. Why? I can't show the property. They won't let me do an assignment. I got to do a double closings and this proof of funds and constant struggle with EMD. And then I can never talk to the owner and get the truth. And that's the problem with it. Do you understand that? It's not that you can't do it, but I prefer you get a few deals under your belt, get very comfortable with it. Here's how you work with real estate agents, okay? This is the easiest strategy. I'm going to give it to you for free, and this is what you should do.
All right.
Go find real estate agents that actually do business in your market, like that are active and doing it. Sit down, buy them a cup of coffee or set an appointment and say, listen, don't use the word wholesaler. I'm a cash buyer. I buy properties. Listen, I don't want to waste your time, but if you come across a property, maybe someone who listed a property and they're coming back to resell it with you, if it's not up to par, it needs a lot of work, and they don't have the money for the rehab on it, call me. I'll make an offer on it. I'll pay your full commission, and let me know if those properties come across your desk. Most of those real estate agents don't want to go on MLS to try to find the cash buyer because it just makes them feel bad. So I would go out. I met with 100 agents. It was a huge waste of my time, but I did find 2 that worked with me to this day, still send me deals. And they only call me 2 or 3 times a year. Here's the problem. Most of this, how you do it, you reach out and they go, it sounds promising. You do 5 or 6 phone calls. It never really gets anywhere. And you piss the agent off. They're like, I don't want to work with this Justin and guy anymore because he just wastes my time. And this is how we get in the Hatfield-McCoy argument everywhere. Because they don't understand quite what you do. And the reality is you don't really understand what they do. And it's just a really bad way to start off a relationship. That's like saying, listen, I'm going to join your football team. I'm going to score 5 touchdowns the first game. Like, really? Sure. Come on in. Like, dude, you don't even get off the line. You suck.
Right.
And this is why we have so many problems with the real estate agent thing. And it's like, if you just go to them and go, listen, if you go, I occasionally get a crappy property, or maybe you got a really tired listing that's getting ready to expire, call me. But I'd rather you do that strategy than call 1,000 real estate agents. You have to deal with hundreds of phone calls, thousands of hours, and you're not going to get anywhere with it. Hell, I don't even do that strategy. It's very glamorous on a podcast. And of course, it all looks really good. But the problem is it's extremely hard on the back end. So it's got about a 2 to 3% survivability clause. And that's the problem. That's why I have you go after government lists, the most motivated. Remember, focus on people that need to sell their house. Most people that list their house do what? They want to sell it. They have their terms. And if you meet them and pay their price, you get it. And that's my problem. And real estate agents, they think higher the price, the higher the commission. They're not always looking to solve a problem. Now, you will find good real estate agents. Go to meetup groups, real estate investor groups, stuff like that. And if you find an agent that understands what you do, but like the biggest problem we do with real estate agents is we waste their time. We have them work for free and we wonder why they hate wholesalers. Like, I don't blame them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I own a real estate company. We get hammered by wholesalers all day long. And sometimes on the phones, I'm like, why don't you tell us what you're looking for? And we'll let you know if we have any in inventory. It's like that simple. I'd rather you go after property management companies, forge relationships with title companies. These are where the real deals are out. I'm chasing real estate agents down. Like, they don't want to deal with you. They want to sell their properties for tippy top dollar, which is going to screw you. And you know what? Your cash buyers don't want tippy top properties. They want to find value add properties. How are you? So unless you pre-train the real estate agent, like I'm teaching you now, That's how you do the most damage. And then if you call me once or twice a year, I'm fine with it. When they call with me, though, if it makes sense, I'm going to make it work. And remember, they get paid their full commission, and like they don't have to put it on the market and go through all that crap. It's all about it. But when they put it on the market, guess who calls them? People like you and me. Would you take a cash offer? Yeah. Would you take it like 40% less than the list price? Click all day long. And
Okay.
you already know
Yeah.
it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And so like, here's the podcast. It goes, do me a favor. Can you randomly call 10 real estate agents with me right here and tell me how it goes down? Don't record it. Don't pre-plan it. Don't call your buddy. Every one of them, they're all preset. Why? Because it doesn't work. And guys, for the most part, real estate agents are pretty nice when they talk to you. Like they're just trying to do business. It's not the reality. Wholesaling was never meant to go on MLS and make it happen that way. If so, I would sell a course for it, or like I would just give away a course to it. I teach how to do the MLS stuff, but like there is a strategy if you're highly experienced and you have money, and it's still miserable. Like I ain't gonna lie to you. Real estate agents are a nightmare when it comes to wholesaling for the most part. So what they do is, what you have to do is find one that took a property that never belonged on the MLS. And then you have to walk them off a ledge on how they're going to get paid first, because that's all they care about. And then you have to find a price that's going to make sense. And then you got to find a way to squeeze your cash buyer and all that other stuff. Dude, I hate doing it. I've been doing this 22 years. Right now I have a real estate agent just blocking a deal for 2 years straight. It's a big commercial deal. She just will not get out of the way. She's been 100% wrong. She put it in the market for 2 years. I go, listen, I think the market's broken. Do you want to cut a deal? And she's still 300 grand off the correct price. So understand that is the challenge with it. I love real estate agents. If it was different, it would be different. But unless their deal's expiring, or they get someone who wants to list a property and they go, ooh, that thing is ugly. Those are the only two opportunities you have. And then calling on expired listings. Why call on expired listings? Just call the owner directly. You're better off dealing with it that way. Right?
Right.
It's fair game for us. If it's going to expire, why call the agent? You can call the agent, but I don't think you're going to get very far.
Okay.
By the way, we've called
that.
on hundreds of thousands of expired listings. Like you get like a 10% discount. There's just like, what am I going to do with that? Occasionally one will roll over. But the ones that roll over, the ones you've already set up a relationship. So go find the winners, and then that way you can use your time, because you don't have time to waste like that working a full-time job.
Right. Yeah.
You know that deep down low, don't you, Justin?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That was just like a random thought I had for today.
Let me ask you, without naming the person, because I'm not here to embarrass scam artists, but does he or she sell a course on it?
I think the main guy that does the podcast sells a course, but the guy he had on doesn't sell the course, and he was the one that was talking about it.
Yeah. So go listen, just show me your last 10 examples.
Right. Yeah.
I can rip you off the last 5 deals I did with why I shut. Like if they can't do it, it's complicated. My favorite part is
I refuse to pay for a course. Like
it's not
absolutely not.
Just tell me the goddamn address. So
yeah.
That's okay. Anything else, bud?
No, man. I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me, and I'm back to cold calling, and I'll probably report back in next week or next Monday.
Okay, no problem, man. Have a good one,
hey,
Justin.
Man. Thanks.
See you. Matt, what's going on, man?
Oh, hey there.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I sent out a bunch of. I figured out the mail merge. The last time we talked, I was doing the mail merging and stuff. I sent out some letters, and I got someone called me back.
Awesome.
Like in the same week. I was expecting this takes way long time, but
no.
Anyway,
it's just So go ahead. What you got?
So she said that, like, she thinks the house should be demolished, so she's talking to developers. But I mean, I just drove by it this morning and did some driving for dollars, and like on that same road, there's like 4 houses or three or four houses on the same road that kind of look like they're in the same condition, and a couple others are being fixed up just in that area. And so I'm what I'm thinking is I could get it under contract for the land value if she thinks it can be it should be demolished.
Did you ask her why it needs to be demolished?
No, I'm gonna call her back, like probably after this call.
Yeah.
I kind of just said, oh, let me do some research and talk to my partner, and I'll come back and see about what kind of offer I can make. I'm still kind of nervous about how to like switch from. That was one of the questions I want to ask is,
Okay.
how do I switch from transactional talking to rapport? Because when I start out, it's like, oh, do you want to sell your house? Oh yeah, I do. Okay. And then it's kind of hard to jump into rapport and be like, so what do you like to do in your
So
free time?
you always start with rapport first, period.
Okay.
So this is local too, though, right? Or does she
Yeah,
live
yeah.
out of town?
Yeah, she lives in the same town.
So always start out building rapport.
Yeah.
If you ever can get belly to belly, you think it's a deal, it's 10 times more powerful just because
Yeah.
people are visual. And typically what I do is, the motivation's there. The question is the property qualified? Like, does it really need to be demoed? I would get that information first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so like over the phone, it should always be gathering information unless you're virtual. So if you're 100% virtual, you have to do, and I do the same thing in person, is we just do what we call a transition statement.
Mhm.
Wholesalers are guilty of talking too much because they're uncomfortable. So when
Yeah.
people are uncomfortable, by habit, they talk too much. You ever met people like that?
Yeah.
Like, dude, land the plane. Like, where are we going? And so, like, listen, I could talk about your kids all day. I could talk about the Miami Dolphins, but I'm here to see if I can possibly buy your house. Do you mind if we get into it? It forces you to now go, okay, now I got to go to steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. You basically got to go into a negotiation.
Yeah.
Then you pick your strategy. If you did it right and you built a ton of rapport, you use the go for no strategy. You know what that is, right? So
Yeah.
the go for no only works if you have massive rapport. If you don't have massive rapport, you're going to get kicked out of the house. Trust
Yeah.
me, I've been kicked out. So once you do that, then you get a counter, and then you can start playing around and see if the numbers work. It's simple. It's straight to the point. You can go good cop, bad cop. Go, listen, I like the house, but my partner said, we don't have more than 30 grand. Like, is that even possible? And just kind of do the scrunchy face and just shut your mouth and watch the reaction. It's all about the reaction. Remember, crap happens to us all day. Stuff we have no control over. We do have a choice. We can react to it, which means you're going to give your gut react. That's what you're looking from them. You are not ever going to give a reaction. You're going to give what? A response. Response. A response means you carefully thought it through and you're not letting your emotions take you over. Our motivated sellers, they all spit out what's on their mind. That's what I want. No filter. Just give me your subconscious what you think the house is worth. Because if I go, listen, I could give you 40 grand for it. She's like, are you crazy? Me and my husband said we could never take less than 70. I'm like, damn, I just saved 2 weeks. And that's what I'm looking for every time. When they spit back to me, I'm just like, I go, well, I tell you what, I threw out a number. You said 70. I don't think I can do 70, but let me talk to my partner and see what I can do.
Yeah.
That's what you call a response, not a reaction. Reactions, that's what most wholesalers do. And if you understand that, so just do a transition. Go, listen, I'd love to talk to you all day. And I go, we're going to be friends no matter what happens here. But like, let's get down to it. I want to let me ask you a few questions and let's see if we can make this deal work. Is that okay? Boom. Now they're expecting it. They're expecting a horrible negotiation. The go for no it takes all the tension off of it and makes them react. It is tricky. I'll be the first to admit to it, but it doesn't matter how you get to the destination to get there, as long as it's legal and ethical. That you can't cross. But if my design gets you to where you want to go, do it. If not, then like the other ways, I've sat there and negotiated with people 2 and 3 weeks. It sucks. I want to kind of get to the point. So I'll spend all my energy on rapport. A bad wholesaler will spend all their time on comps and like, because the neighbor's house sold for this and because this and because that. Go, listen, here's what I can give you. That's it. Like, and I just and I'm looking for a reaction. And if they say yes, you might be a little bit concerned because like you're supposed to say no. And that's it. When you get when you get a no or multiple no's, it means you're making progress. And then when you get under contract for the right price, then you get yeses all day long. If you go for yes first, I promise you a crap load of no's afterwards. And that's it. It's going to be awkward and uncomfortable at first. After a while, you just kind of do it. But listen, you're paid for the amount of stress that you can endure. That's how business works. After a while, it doesn't become stressful at all. It's like, okay, it's not acting school. I want to get to point A, point B with the least amount of stress possible.
Yeah.
And then once you get it done, then you can go back in the rapport friend mode. They love it because they forget about the stress of when you lowballed them with the go for no. They forget about it. They forget about it every time I do it. They're pissed when it happens, but remember, all people care about is how they felt when they met you and how they felt when they left. And let's face it, the ones that are in left field, move on, whatever. It was never going to work out anyways. But if you don't do that, they will drag you on for weeks, if not months. And that's the whole purpose of the strategy. So use the transition statement. It'll help you out a lot.
Cool.
It's going to force you just to go, oh crap, I said it. Now I'm in it, because they're going to shut up until you talk. And then that's the part you got to rehearse a little bit and go, listen, well, I've looked at the house, and based on what I say, I go, listen, the most I can offer you is yada. So I still always ask them for a price. Don't get me wrong. But most of them are I don't know. You're the expert. You tell me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did know, but if you did know, what price you think it would be. And so I'll use the volley method, and then that gives me permission just to give them the go for no right off the bat. Boom.
Yeah.
Shoot it over the bow. And
yeah,
remember,
my plan was basically try to what is it where you rephrase a couple times the same question.
Exactly.
See if I can get her to do it. Then if that doesn't work, I do the volley method. Or that's what the volley method is. And then
the volley method just rephrase.
Then I was going to do the comical one, but I was kind of thinking to do a comical one, but it still sounds reasonable. Well, my partner was saying he'd do it for 30. And
then when they react violently, is your partner on crack? What's the problem? Hey, he's a little out there. I get it. But I want to get the deal done.
Yeah.
Where do you think we need to be? And then you say words like this. You don't never use ask, never use offer. How much money do you need? What do you need to get rid of this property?
Yeah, yeah.
When you say it like that, they look at you and if you know it's that type of property, they know deep down that's what they want to get to you anyways. And once you know what their numbers are, then you're just kind of playing around with the final number. Remember, you're taking on a problem. You have to get it at a discount, or you're going to be screwed. And I'd rather you not get the number right and then play around with them than getting the wrong number and then having to unwind or try to renegotiate the whole deal. It's so painful.
Yeah.
Remember, do the hard stuff up front and you will be rewarded at the end for it. If you want to avoid it and you don't want to deal with it, you're just going to kick the can down the road. And this is how you get out of wholesaling, because you get frustrated and you don't make any money. We're not paid by the hour. We're paid by the deal, the effort. So put in your best effort, and you got to, the amazing thing with wholesaling, you will learn human psychology better than any college course that could ever teach you. I know how to look into people's eyes. I know instantly when people are lying to me. And that took me 10 years to understand it. I know when someone looks up, they look down, they look sideways. And by the way, it's not okay, if he looks up, I know he's trying to find an answer. It's based on the culture they come from too. It's crazy. It depends on what part of the country you are, what country you came from. Because in a different country, when someone looks down, it means something completely different. It's just people's culture. And I screwed up a lot of deals trying to do that. So just believe in yourself. Go and do the strategy. You'll be fine. Remember, you're not going to get an outcome if you don't get to the bottom line. And so you have to do the hard stuff up front, and you'll be rewarded for that in the long run. I promise you.
Cool. I did have another question, because we're talking about price. So I don't really know how to do comps for a property that might need a demolition. Do I need to factor in how much demolitions cost?
Dude, listen, none of it. You just got to get it dirt cheap. Do you hear me?
Yeah. I'm
doing an entire, I'm going to do the Flip with Rick live tomorrow. I'm specifically talking about the comp issue.
Okay.
I'm down. I used to say a 10-minute comp. I'm down to a 2-minute comp. Like I
Mhm.
do not waste, like it's a waste of freaking time. When you're borderline demo, just find out even what the rough land value is and discount that.
Yeah, yeah. I went up, got the property. Well, I went to the county, got the property appraisal, found the land value and the improvement value. And
Mhm.
so the land value, it said like 130,000.
Yeah.
And then other properties in the area, just straight vacant land that was about the same size, like 0.3 acres, was like 150,000. So for me to say, oh, I wouldn't, it's hard to feel comfortable offering 30,000 because that's kind of unheard of in Oregon, West Coast. I don't know. It seems like crazy, but
Dude,
I was
so
thinking like
remember,
80.
what's your first response going to be from the seller?
No way. What are you
There
talking
you go.
about?
So it doesn't matter where you start. Just get a
Yeah,
number
yeah.
where you don't get like kicked,
Kicked
and
out
then
of
you
the
know
house.
what, and just kind of like and make logical sense of it. So
Yeah.
I always tell people, whatever the land value is, knock off like 55%, because you need
Yeah.
room to negotiate it, because you don't want to go past 70
Okay.
on land ever. Like, and that's it. So it just,
Yeah.
you're overthinking it. If she's already thinking demo, she's thinking zero.
I
Like,
know. I
so
think
that's
she
how I
just
look
wants
at it. Just
to
I look
pay
at
off
somebody
the
in
hospital.
foreclosure. I'm like, you're going to get zero if you don't take what I'm offering you. Like,
Yeah.
you have to look at what their outcome's going to be if they continue on the exact same path they're on.
Yeah. And then
That's
I guess
it. If she thinks it's going to be demo, she's going to walk. She's going to get nothing from that property. By the
yeah.
time they're done with the liens and everything, she'll get zero.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it needs to be demoed. Maybe they're using it as a lever for her to actually put money in the property and make it correct.
Yeah.
So what I would do too is you can also go talk to people on that street that are doing rehab and ask, hey, when you bought this property, what was the condition it's in, and just see what the story is.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. So, but ask her, why are they looking to demo it? And then just get into it. Like, make an offer either way. Like, you got options here.
Yeah. And then the last thing is, well, when I start to think, well, what if it doesn't need to be demoed and I get it for land value, and then I could flip it for like actual home value, which could be 250,000, have a buyer
I
come
agree.
and buy
Just
it for that.
start with a land with a potential piece of property needs to be demoed on it.
Yeah.
She's set the framework. Work within that framework. Don't go outside of it. Don't
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm
just go,
just
listen,
wondering,
for me to
how
get
do
a
you
property like
actually,
that with demo and everything like that, I would offer the max is 50% of what the property value is now. Because by the time, if I had to factor in demo and all that, they would just, especially in your state, God knows what number they're going to put on that. It could be 30, 40 grand.
yeah, I asked Siri, and Siri said anything from 15 to 40 grand
There you go.
demolition. So I was just wondering, so I've heard that double closes can help you kind of hide who is getting what. Is that kind of the wrong way to think about this?
Yeah, it's really that's a guru's way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
If you're helping somebody out and it's a cash deal, like, you do not need to do a double close on this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't.
I was
You
just
don't. It
scared that
just it just
she
adds
would
additional
see-
cost. The only time you do a double closing is you're required to by the state because of some ridiculous legislation, which there's only 2 or 3. There's 3 or 4 now. Or you have a problematic seller, and it's the only way you can get the deal done. Like, sometimes you do have to do that to save. Remember, our job is to save the sellers from themselves.
Yeah.
People get obsessed, like, are you going to resell? Like, the people, and usually it's a realtor, a neighbor, or someone drives the fear. I'm like, okay, you're under contract, you have a great profit. You do a double closing. It's an insurance policy, but it's going to cost you like 3% of the deal. It's like paying a realtor.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
What?
I only do it. I never, ever do it for the buyer. If you ever do a double closing because the buyer's throwing a fit, you just got the wrong buyer. Just
Yeah,
replace
cut 'em
them.
out.
Don't take a discount because the buyer's a pain in your ass.
Uh,
Now, the seller, you can't replace the seller. So occasionally we have to do them. On average, less than 5% of my deals are double closings.
yeah.
Why give money away when you don't have to?
So I'd only do it if I was afraid that this PR would get kind of uneasy about seeing $100,000 on the table. if it,
I don't think you're going to make 100 grand on the deal. I hope you do.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
I think you're overthinking it. And keep in mind, you can always option that option down the road. Like, so if it's a small profit, 10 grand or less, you have to do an assignment of contract or you're going to get
Yeah.
killed.
Mhm.
But say you were making 100 grand, she's going to freak out. Okay, you could do a double close, but you realize she's going to eventually look up and see what you resold it for anyway. So you're just delaying it.
Yeah.
You know,
All
so
right.
I tell everyone, listen, I buy your, I'm going to make a profit one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, okay. I have no idea, right? I don't know if I'm making $100 or 100,000. Like I've
Yeah.
had deals where I've lost money when I wasn't a good wholesaler and I didn't stick to the fundamentals. So like, remember, don't make it a problem when the seller, I don't like when they're talking about a house being demoed, they got much bigger issues than what the profit you're going to make.
Yeah.
And remember, when it comes to they don't know what kind of money you put into it, all sorts. There's so many factors that are so out of their control. Like very few will question it. The only time you have a problem if it's a real estate agent or another investor trying to throw like fire on your deal, then occasionally you're required to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you could always option that at the very end. I've done assignments where a realtor showed up to the closing to like throw, I'm going to bust this wholesaler. I'm like, John, remember I told you I'm making a profit on it? She's like, he's scamming you. He's making 55. I go, John, what did I tell you I'm buying your house for? He goes, 110,000. I go, John, what am I paying you? 110,000. He goes, yeah, but she won't leave me alone. I said, John, would it feel better if I just fund the deal myself? Okay. I just went, I borrowed money. I closed it the next day. I had to give up $5,000 on my deal though.
Because you got a hard money lender.
I didn't have a choice because she was going to make it such a sticking point. And the reason she was pissed is because she wanted to list the property. So she drove him to the closing and tried to bust me in midstream. And we switched it up in an hour. It was that quick. And I just entertained him. I go, John, that's fine. I have the cash to close it. You want me to do it that way? I'll do it that way. Like once I close it, you have no right to tell me what I do with it afterwards. He goes, I don't care. She's just driving me nuts. I'd rather just do it this way to get her out of my hair. I'm like, okay. Occasionally there's stuff I can't control. So how I can control it is with a double closing. Don't make the double closing an excuse because you're scared of how people are going to feel about your deals. Remember, we remove our emotions from it. I disclose to every seller what I'm doing. I give them the paperwork. Occasionally somebody shines the wrong light at the deal and they try to sabotage it. So we use the double closing as an ultimate protection to make sure the deal gets done. Because at the end of the day, the seller needs to sell that deal. We have to help the seller get out of their own way sometimes by doing the double closing. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay,
Those were the 3 big questions. Thanks.
Awesome, Matt. I'll see you, man. So guys, if you have a chance, check out X Leads. It's the best all-in-one platform for wholesaling. We have a big release coming up, I believe in 3 weeks. I promise you, there'll be nothing even close to it in X Leads. And guys, we are doing our live event. I put it on here at the bottom. If you're going to be in the Orlando area, you got to be a Flip with Rick Plus member. Check out Flip with Rick Plus. We meet 4 times a week online. We meet twice a year for 4 days total and talk nothing about wholesaling. We don't talk about anything else except to make you a better wholesaler. If you want to come out, meet me and Zach live, join now with Flip with Rick Plus. And then if you do a deal with us, you get the whole year back for free. I have so many people that have gotten our program for free because we do deals together, because I teach you the real truth on how to do wholesaling. I cut the guru crap out of there, all these paywalls and stuff, guys. Jump in. Let's do it. And guys, listen, as usual, if you got value from there, please just make sure you subscribe. It is a compliment. Consider this your ticket to the Rick Ginn Show, and I will teach you wholesaling, guys. I've been doing this almost 22 years. My goal is just to make you a better wholesaler. I do not care what a guru thinks about me. Honestly, I have a thick hide. I don't care. This is why they're all hiding behind a paywall. Listen, if they just give you the truth wholesaling, you'll be doing deals with them. How many people actually partner up with their gurus? Very few. There's a reason for it, guys. Make sure you subscribe to this. Check out my son's channel, Zach Ginn. I'll be on tomorrow, Flip with Rick. We're going to talk all about comping. I'm going to save you so much aggravation. Tune in to me then, guys. And I'll see you soon. See you guys later.